Hello everybody, Incon here, coming at you with a top 5 support video here for Season 5. A lot of you guys have been curious as to what gods you should be playing as a support right now, how you should be playing them. Step 1 on this video, guys, is I do believe that, in fact, the typical support is going to be stronger than the jungle, double jungle support. A lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of support players, myself included, are experimenting with running very high clear supports in a jungle role on the opposite side of the map of your jungler, so on the duo lane side. While it's good, and I absolutely think that you're going to see it at top level gameplay, I think it's going to be a pocket pick. I think it's going to be a throw people off pick when you see the Athena come out to jungle, the Ymirs, even an assassin, you know, the Circuit support. I do think it's going to happen, but I think it's not going to be, I'm very 100% confident actually that it is not standard meta. It will be a throw the enemy team off of their strategy pick. So this top 5 supports will be strictly focused on your in-lane supports. Who's the best at pushing, keeping the team alive, transitioning into that mid game while also having that strong early game. Now, our first support on this list, number 5, the 5th best support right now in my opinion, and our only warrior support on the list is going to be Nike. Nike right now is thriving in the support role for a couple reasons. One reason is her passive. Obviously, you hear a lot about Nike's passive. It's one of the reasons why I say it has such a high win rate. This passive for your team is immensely helpful in the support role, giving them the extra power, that extra movement speed. Also, it allows your solo laner to not have to be focused on playing a warrior, because warriors are actually not amazing right now in the solo lane. A lot of solo laners are leaning towards guardians and assassins right now. And so you miss out on the opportunity to have this amazing passive for your team. Her early game is incredibly strong right now by all standards. Her rend can't be interrupted anymore by knockups, which is huge. This means that you basically get your clear off like no matter what, because people aren't really going to like stun you at level 1. So you're going to have great lane clear. Also, it's a protection shred. And it's a disarm once you get your 2 online, and if you hit 3 on somebody, that's all good things for a support to be doing. You're getting that lane clear off, you're getting your extra damage because of the protection shred, or you're disarming the ADC in the late game, which is awesome. You have a jump, which is awesome because not all supports have a getaway skill. It's also a great initiation skill. If you combine your plan of action with this, you're going to go ahead and be getting that quick knockup. Knockups are the best CC possible in the game for supports, because unless you preemptively beat them, you're absolutely stuck, which means your follow-up damage is guaranteed. And of course, her ultimate, which is really helpful right now and probably one of the best reasons to play Nike support. Supports are falling very far behind in levels right now. On average, about, I'd say, 2 to 4 levels behind. This ultimate is going to allow you to have the HP to live even though you're behind in levels. It's going to give you the extra oomph that you need to survive through the team fight, or even die in the team fight still, but live long enough to where they had to use that extra 2-3 abilities on you, and then they didn't use them on your carries, and so you won the team fight. Very strong right now, and like I said, the only warrior right now on our list. Moving over into our Guardians, Fafnir is my number 4 support right now in the support role. Fafnir is thriving in the support right now a lot because of his passive. Fafnir gains extra gold with this passive. Obviously, supports right now falling behind in XP, which means if you're going to be falling behind in XP, you might as well be trying to make it up somewhere. If you're making it up in the item department, those levels hurt a lot less if you have extra protections, if you have extra health, not even considering the fact that Fafnir's passive also gives him protections for just having gold in your inventory, which is quite nice. He does fine in the lane clear department. He's not the best, but his 1 does a decent enough job. He did get nerfed fairly recently with that stun duration only being 1 second instead of 1.5. That's okay. He still has probably the most CC out of any support. He's got 2 stuns on his 1. He's got a disarm on his 3. He's got a stun on his 3. And he's also got an invulnerability frame with his ulti, which is huge for avoiding a lot of the big damage ults coming out right now from, you'll see, you know, the Goobies and the Raws and the Poseidons. Pretty popular right now. Also, Fafnir's Coerce has never been anything but amazing. It's always good. It's a self-heal for Fafnir. In the late game, it's immensely helpful right now for Phoenix pushing. Phoenix pushing is super hard right now. Incredibly difficult. So giving that extra attack speed for your ADC to get those couple extra autos in, or if you're in your ultimate form, giving it to your entire team. Hell, mages can hit pretty hard right now with their auto attacks, depending on their build. So just giving that extra attack speed to your team really, really helps with these Phoenix pushes, just trying to get the objective down. Not to mention, with how easy it is to kill Fire Giant now, you throw a Coerce on your Hunter or your Mage, and the Fire Giant can die in easily under 10 seconds right now. Like, it's not even close. I mean, you can probably do Fire Giant within like 6 seconds right now pretty easily. So, very strong support right now. Moving into a support that I think kind of gets memed on a little bit. I do it myself. Because whenever this support seems to come into a meta, or whenever any other god seems to come into a meta, the idea is always to nerf him and everything will be okay. And of course, we're talking about Khepri. Woojer is really strong right now, so I expect Khepri to be getting a nerf pretty soon in order to balance out Woojer. But Khepri is actually really strong right now in this meta. I think he's underrated. One of the biggest things for Khepri is his level 1. Rising Dawn is one of the better abilities for a support in the game at level 1. It does an immense amount of damage for lane clear. It's a protection debuff on their minions, and it's also a damage mitigation buff on your minions, which helps you. You almost can't lose lane clear with Khepri because of how big the swing is because of this ability. Not to mention, in the laning phase, because of your passive, you have a little bit of extra health, so you can afford to walk up in front of some Hunter autos, try to get a little bit of damage off of your minions. Once again, helps you get that first lane push. That first wave push right now for a duo is so important because that means that at the least, you get the 2 small minions from their purple buff, which is all you need to hit level 2 on the second wave. You don't have to do the whole purple buff. You just got to kill the 2 small minions, and then you'll hit level 2 on the second wave, which you know you're going to outclear them because you just outcleared them on the first wave. And then you'll hit level 2, and you can quickly go for the engage. And even if you don't kill them, you're going to force their shell, meditation, beads, whatever. Another reason why Khepri's so great right now is because his CC so strong. Up to a 1.9 second pull on his abduct and a 1.7 second root on his solar flare. Also, his combined damage as a support right now is actually decent. He's got 280 base damage, 250. This ability does like another 250 damage. But most importantly right now for Khepri outside of his level 1 clear is his ultimate. Khepri's ultimate kind of comes in and out of being good depending on what type of meta you're in, but we are in a damage meta, which is where Khepri's ultimate is the best. You're talking about Hebos, okay? You're talking about these big damage characters, Freya's. If you give them the ability and the confidence to run into a team, right? Hebo's not afraid to flip and blink in and ulti an entire team, right? He gets off 4,000 damage. Maybe he doesn't even kill anybody, right? But he gets everybody down to 30 HP. They all turn on him to kill him. You throw your ulti on him, keep him alive. Game over. You just won an entire team fight. It's over. Because that Hebo comes back up, water spout 1, dead. He's alive. Their entire team is dead. When he respawns on you, you throw him a shell. You throw your 2 on him so he's taking less damage. He can't die again. He already got most of his damage off to begin with. Now he's second rounding of his abilities. Because of a damage meta, that's when Khepri's ultimate's the most effective. You let your carries go in, blow everything they have on the enemy. They don't have to worry about positioning. All they have to worry about is how much damage can I get off as quick as possible. Then you keep them alive. Or even better, you throw the ulti on the enemy team panics, and they're like, oh no, we can't fight them until this ulti's off of them. And then that player continues to rail on the enemy team for free for 5 seconds. And then even if they die afterwards, doesn't matter. You just won that fight, and you've got 4 people alive still because they spent so much time waiting for the Khepri ult to come off of them. Second up on our top 5 supports, guys, is somebody that I think this one was really hard to decide between 1 and 2. For me, supports 5 Nike, 4 Fafnir, and 3 Khepri. Those were kind of no-brainers for me. But 2 and 1 are almost interchangeable. And I made my decision based off of one thing, which I'll let you know when we get to number 1. But my number 2 support right now for you is going to be Athena. Athena is loving this meta. She has great lane clear. I think it's quite underrated. Your preemptive strike into reach at level 1 is so much damage. When you get your shield wall online, you're basically full clearing archers by yourself. Her ability to initiate is second to none. She doesn't need blink because of how strong an ability preemptive strike is. You follow that up right into a confound. You're burning beads all the time. And of course, what makes Athena so strong is kind of 2 things. 1, Defender of Olympus. It's actually 3 things. It's 3 major things. 1, Defender of Olympus. Athena is always everywhere. On the bigger map right now, you know, even before this Season 5 came out, when they said maps are going to be bigger, everybody goes, well, Athena's coming back into the meta. And everybody was right. She's really the only god that can, like, afford to consistently be looking at the solo lane, because you can always ulti back over to the duo lane, right? So the solo laner doesn't get beads, you rotate over with the jungler, kill the solo laner, they go to start Gold Fury, you ulti in on your ADC, you kill them, you wipe my Gold Fury too. She puts so much pressure on everybody because it's never a 1v1 fight, it's always a 2v1 no matter what, as long as your Athena's playing correctly. And that makes everybody play so passive around the map. Second thing, like we mentioned, Taunt is arguably the best initiate skill in the entire game. With you being able to get away on building like cooldown boost now and support, stuff like that, it's even a lower cooldown earlier, so you're getting more initiations off all the time. Mid laners in particular are going to hate dealing with you because of how many ways you can come in and gank the mid lane and kill them. Finally, and an underrated part of Athena is going to be the passive on her 1. You gain 3 block stacks on Athena with your preemptive strike as long as you hit something with it. That is 3 ADC autos. We're talking 3 Freya smash you in the face, kill your brains out. We're talking 3 Artemis crits to the head, nullified 100% by your passive. If you have it stacked before a fight, you use a passive stack, and then you use this ability, you're mitigating 4 auto attacks. And then if you use a shell upgraded, you're mitigating another 2. You're talking 6 auto attacks that did 0 damage to you in a team fight, which is insane right now, considering how hard characters like Freya or how hard crit hunters are hitting right now. I mean, those 6 autos, you're dead. That is the difference between being at 100% health and 0% health. And I think it's an extremely underrated part of Athena's kit that you need to be constantly thinking about when you're playing her. Finally, our number 1 support right now, the best support you can possibly play, and that's going to be RDO. RDO is insanely strong right now in the support role. She's also very good in the solo lane, so she's also a flex pick. I think RDO's kind of straightforward. Her ability to life tap and root out of range is so strong. It means that your positioning as a hunter, especially in the laning phase, you have to be so far back you can never clear the wave because they're just going to root you, and then your Anher or your Uller or whatever follows up your Jingwei, follow up your abilities on this rooted target. It's so easy to burn beads. You also have the bear form, which means you have not only an initiation already on them at level 1, it's also great lane clear. It also is a slow. You've got a heal on your 1 for your entire team. People often forget that RDO 1 is a team heal, not just a self heal like your 3. So that's a big heal for your team in a team fight. Plus you throw in the bear damage. She has the best level 1 fight, the best level 2 fight of any support in the game right now. She gets protection debuff stacks. Her 2 is a 4-second cripple by having 1 point in the ability. So the second you burn your bees with your root, you're just crippling them for 4 seconds and they can't jump away. When they finally get ready to jump away, you turn to your bear and you stun them for another second so they can't use anything for 5 seconds. So strong in the laning phase. Late game team fights, it's the exact same thing. You're just putting out a ton of damage. You're super aggressive. You're CCing people. You're crippling people that come in for the initiations. She thrives with cooldown boots because you're getting all these abilities up faster. I can't talk up RDO enough. Because of how strong her early game is the reason why I gave it to her over Athena. Athena will get her ass kicked by an RDO in the early game. And because of kind of how the duo lane is a little bit snowballing right now, with if you win the level 1 clear, you get the purple buff. And if you really win the level 1 clear, you don't just get the small minions, you also get the big purple buff minion. Then you get the wave again, then you do your buffs, then you get the wave, and then you go do oracles or whatever, and then you get the wave. And you're snowballing this XP. The purple buff respawns, you go do the purple buff again. You're taking away buffs, you're taking away XP. It's very easy to fall a level or 2 behind right now by the time you get level like 6 or 7. Which the hunters can oftentimes find a way to make up, but as a support player, falling behind levels early is tragic because it affects the way that you play the rest of the game. And that's why she is the #1 support, period, right now that you can play. I want to give a quick honorable mentions to the following 3 gods. Geb is quite good right now. He's so strong in the late game with like cooldown boots on his shield. He needs the blink for initiation though, which kind of throws him a little bit off. In his early game at level 1 is not good. He will basically always lose the early game clear. Sylvanas has really strong level 1 clear. But you have to go Hunter's Blessing to get the most out of it. And if you go Hunter's Blessing, you always fall behind by the time you get into the mid game. He's also another god that needs Blink for initiation, which means you're not going to have that shell for your team in the early game. And not having a defensive active is really rough in the early game. So then if you go the defensive active, then you can't really initiate till level 12. That's also really rough, so you have to pick your poison. And finally, a situational god, Odin. Odin makes for a great support. He actually has amazing lane clear. The problem with Odin is he's always going to be a situational pick. If they pick a lot of characters that heal, a lot of character without jumps, you can always look to play Odin in the support role, but he's not a, hey, I'm first, second pick, let's just pick up Odin, because then you're never going to have a good god to go and initiate against. You want to wait until the end, but he is quite good in the support role in the right situations now. Hope this video helped you guys on who to play in the support role right now. Reminder, 5 is Nike, 4 Fafnir, 3 Khepri, 2 Athena, and #1 RDO. Hope this guys helped you out. Thank you so much for your support, and as always, have a twitchin' day, y'all. Thanks everybody for watching the video. If you want to watch more content, go ahead and click yourself down in the corner to watch another one of our videos. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can find that right up on there. And if you want to go ahead and buy some sweet merchandise, guys, you can click that right above my head. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a twitchin' day, y'all.